make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. That was some of the best TV I have seen since Game of Thrones has gone off. If I was standing right now, you see me twinkling on my tiptoes, because this season was a banger. Seriously. Now, if you want me to break down every single episode from Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1, let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll break down every single video. This is going to be a hodgepodge mix match of some of my favorite moments, some of my least favorite moments, and just in general what I liked about this show. I'll try to break down who the hell this Vecna creature is, and also a special thank you to these individuals right here, because they are the ones who are responsible for these videos, and without them, well, I wouldn't really be able to make this kind of content. Basically, YouTube will put my video up in its algorithm for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then it virtually disappears. If you watch YouTube videos, you know that a YouTube video has to be ranked in their algorithm for upwards of 24 hours for it to do well. So, Patreon is just a way of me to combat that. If you enjoy my content, please check out the link down below in the description and consider joining and signing up for a monthly pledge. Now, for those who are unaware, Vecna is a fictional character appearing in Dungeons & Dragons, which is basically a fantasy role-playing game. Vecna has actually been named as one of the greatest villains in D&D. Originally, Vecna was from the world of Greyhawk, which is a campaign setting in Dungeons & Dragons, and Vecna himself was described as a super badass, powerful wizard who ends up becoming a lich. He was eventually destroyed, and his left hand and left eye are the only body parts that survived that fight. Eventually, after he became a god, he is still described as missing both his left eye and left hand. Vecna's holy symbol is an eye in the palm of his left hand. So how does that relate to Stranger Things? Well, the last part, maybe, right? So Vecna has a right-hand man who ultimately becomes a betrayer, Kaz the Bloody-Handed, a vampire whose sword, the Sword of Kaz, is also an artifact. So maybe this Vecna fellow's right-hand man will be making appearance in Part 2 of Stranger Things Season 4, although I highly doubt it. I think the main point is that this guy is one of the original baddies. Like, it's mentioned in the show specifically that he's probably a general, a 5-star general, to the Mind Flayer. And they're sort of working with each other, right? So we find out in Episode 7 that Vecna is actually one. He's a part of the experiments that went on in the laboratory, right, in Hawkins, that basically turned Eleven into who she is. He's got this little, like, thing in his neck that keeps his powers at bay, but ultimately, he's the first person to go into the Upside Down. Like, when him and Eleven are dueling at the end of the episode, she basically opens up a netherworld portal and sends him there. And when he goes there, he's struck by lightning in that storm, his body mutates, and because he's a psychic being, he ultimately survives and becomes some sort of a living Vecna monster creature. Now, what's interesting is that if any other character that has psychic abilities and is sent there, right, through this, like, mind duel with Eleven, would they become something similar? Now, obviously, the way that they combined his character origin with his Dungeons and Dragons character counterpart is that basically Vecna is known as the king of the spider throne, and they sort of mutated that into, like, basically 001 was playing with black widows, and he saw that spiders are like the ultimate predator, right? They don't really fuck with anybody. They're sort of solitary creatures, and they do the world of service, right? So this is sort of his spider throne relation. Like, I've never played Dungeons and Dragons before, ever. I'm waiting for my son to get old enough so I can play it with him. I'll probably learn how to play it before then, but I don't really know as far as his backstory, Vecna. I don't know how much more of that will play into the Stranger Things show. I will say that a lot of the people who do play Dungeons and Dragons are kind of mad that they take these characters from their campaigns and make them like a super washed out version of their character. And it's probably just to make it more believable for this adaptation, right? I mean, we have a bunch of kids running around going into the nether dimension battling demons. So they probably just try to tone it down a little bit. But if I played Dungeons and Dragons and I looked forward to seeing a monster on screen, I'd probably feel the same way. You all let me know what you think down below in the comment section. If you're a Dungeons and Dragons campaigner or player, are you mad at this rendition of Vecna? Now, if I had to quickly guess how Stranger Things Season 4 would end, well, then it's pretty obvious. We're going to get another major character's death. It probably won't be a fake out this time. Like last season, they faked us out with Hopper's death. We find out in the trailer for Season 4 and, in the very first episode, he's still alive. He's captured by the Ruskies, and he's chilling over in, whatever the hell they call it, up north, basically. I would, if I had to predict, like, we just had Max in her occurrence with Vecna, and she basically escaped a gruesome death. That was one of the best episodes of Stranger Things ever. It was incredible from start to finish, right? But Max is most likely safe. Will is most likely safe. Mike is most likely safe. All of the main members and honorary members of the Hellfire Club are probably safe. I think... And this is just a guess. Murray, the main reason I say this is because his scenes with Yuri and Joyce, and eventually Hopper, like, he kind of steals the show for the most part. Like, he's fucking hilarious. He's really charismatic. And then when he shaves his beard, he looks just like Yuri. But all of that besides the point, I feel like they're setting us up for one of the adults to die. And it just makes the most sense if it's Murray. Like, Yuri could die, but that won't have as big as an impact. I just think all the way back to when Samwise Gamgee died, like, that was one of the biggest deaths next to Barb on this series that had a crazy, not just impact on the story, but we're constantly going back to it. Like, obviously, it'll be interesting to see if I'm correct, right, and that his death sort of forwards the story. But I think for the most part, this season, we're due to lose a character who's kind of been with us since the start. And I think Murray sort of fits that role perfectly. If you all agree with my assessment, let me know down below in the comments section. So I'll quickly talk about some of the, one of my favorite moments, and it happened in episode 7, and that's when they're at Eddie Munson's house where Chrissy dies, right? So where Vecna makes her levitate, pulls her through the roof. They find out that that's another location for a portal, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is, like, they made the suspense build up, and then they finally got like to the portal, right? So we see that it's open, and then the camera just sort of, or the scene switches from when they're all about to crawl out, and they're like, I'm like, okay, they did that cinematic thing where they skip over some of the more intense moments and just we catch up with them later, right? That's a film trick that they do to either make a scene less or more bearable, right, if we're watching a really heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching moment, or just to make it like movie magic type thing. It's like there's no way that person would survive if they showed the full car crash or whatever, so they just cut to them walking out of the burning wreckage, right? So that's kind of what they did there, and I'm like, okay, so everybody's gonna make it back into Hawkins and out of the Upside Down and be safe, but they know that's not the case. Nancy Wheeler fucking falls back into the pool, and she's in that pool where Barb died, and like she climbs her way out, but she's still stuck in the Upside Down, way far away from everybody else. So now the question is like, and I think this is what's going to happen in the next episode, is they're probably going to go and look for her. I don't know if everyone left to go back to regular right side up Hawkins. One of the things that I didn't really enjoy that much about this season is the relationship between Mike 11 and Will. It's kind of weird. It's like they have a very grown up argument, kind of like they even mention that, like Mike mentions that, they had a fight and he's like, I don't know if we can come back for this. It's kind of weird to well, I guess when I was 14 I was having fights like that. Mine was more so related about like, not really. I don't know. Like, if I had loved my girlfriend, I wouldn't have a problem saying. I didn't really just enjoy that much. It was kind of cringy, and it felt like I was watching Degrassi at moments. It was kind of like they're still too young to be talking about shit like that. Also, they've been through so much shit. I don't know if it would be like that easy to have them fight. They've literally saved the world multiple times together, so I didn't necessarily like that. And then also Lucas and Max. It's kind of like, what the I mean, I guess that was a little bit better written than the triangle with Mike, 11, and Will. I think that Will's gay. What I think is in that painting probably is like him confused with his emotions and showing that, right? I don't know. You all let me know what you think he painted down below in the comment section. I want to actually break down each one of the episodes individually because it'll be way easier to make videos like that. But if you enjoyed this, thank you all so much for watching. My name is Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's super special thank you to these individuals, and a super special thank you to every single person watching this video. This has been Sir Hunt's Reviews.